talking out loud with A.L. Cooper. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. 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 Politics, religion, fashion, people, passion, lifestyles, no topic too wild. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something.
Hey everybody, and welcome. You're watching Talking Out Loud with A.L. Cooper. I am your host, A.L., and today we are talking out loud about the evolution of love, sex, and marriage. Yeah, it's a definite hot topic, and we encourage you to stay tuned throughout the entire show. We have a great, hot, fantastic panel of guests today, and I am so excited for them to introduce themselves. Let's start with you, Miss Ma'am.
I guess I'll go first. I'm known as Kitty Pride. I have a blog, sexbykittypride.com. I've been studying sexuality for 15 years. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and returning back, we have the wonderful, the fabulous Miss Dr. Rebecca Johnson. Welcome back.
Thank you. Quick 2 cents
Yes,
for those who
please.
don't know me. I am a licensed clinical psychologist and also a life coach. I also own and operate Concierge Psychology, which is the only concierge psychotherapy practice in Georgia. And I specialize in confidentiality. So my clients are mostly people for whom it is very important to them that it may remain private that they're seeing somebody. So I have a very private space they can be seen in, or I will also go to people's homes or works or whatever is convenient for them.
Fantastic. And lastly, we also have Talking Out Loud's business coach, Mr. Michael McCain. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you for having me. My specialty is business coaching as well as nonprofit ministry.
Yes, you're an ordained minister.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is going to be a hot topic. Love, sex, and marriage. Specifically, the evolution of it in itself, because I know I'm I'm not old, but I'm not definitely young, kind of in between, but even just in my very much time here on this earth, I've seen the evolution of love. I mean, it just has evolved from one traditional state all the way to just a different level. I've never seen so much open, express love in regards to the way people love, how they have sex, and even how they are getting married. What are your thoughts on that? Now, Sexy Kitty Pride, I know you are a sexologist, and I know you have different clients that come to you that are struggling with different issues, maybe in a traditional realm, and they're looking at ways to express themselves. How have you seen your clientele change, or just from your studies, seen the evolution of love, sex, and money? And you guys, money, boy, I got something else on my mind.
Love,
of
sex,
marriage.
and money.
and you
Sometimes
guys
it's
can
money.
all chime in as well.
Honestly, I think the evolution is not necessarily what people are doing. What they're coming to me about is things that's been practiced since the beginning of time. I think the evolution is in the tolerance of it. I get a lot of men, for example, they may be in relationships, they may be single, some are men of the cloth, some are whatever, but they're questioning their sexuality. They're based on certain things they want to experiment with, based on sex acts, based on things they want to try with their wife, or in some cases, not to push the envelope too much, but same sex especially. And a lot more people are wanting to become more open. It's just that they're too afraid. But the actual acts and curiosities and things like that, none of that's new. None of that's new.
So there's
Yeah.
nothing new literally under the sun is what you're
Nothing.
saying. Nothing?
Nothing. I mean,
Come on. Caitlin, guys, come on.
well, let me put this out there. Pornography, as far as on video, that didn't start in the 70s. That started in France when the first camera came out.
Interesting.
And there's, they were using different things that you see now. And then the idea of pornography, just as an art form, that goes back to ancient times. That goes back to Egypt. That goes, there's things, artwork on the pyramid of different sex acts.
So
in England, things like that. So there's some may disagree, but the truth of the matter is that historically, a lot of things are not new. They're new to us because we happen to believe that these things are new.
gotcha, but
Yeah.
they're actually existed. What about some of the clients and some of your, people that you've ran into in being in the ministry? What are some of the things that you've encountered in regards to the evolution of love, sex, and marriage? Starting with Dr. Beckham, what have you? Some of the clients that you've experienced, are they struggling with this evolution? Are they looking to step outside of that traditional box?
I am a poly and kink sensitive provider, which means I do specifically work with couples who are
okay.
operating outside of what we would consider to be a normal monogamous relationship.
Okay.
So people who are either swinging or polyamorous, which are two very, very different things.
Okay.
And I will say that I think as society becomes more accepting, although these are not new things historically, as society becomes more accepting, people are more willing to try. You have sex clubs, you have swingers clubs. I see more and more people who have never swung before, maybe aren't even actually interested in the swinging piece, but are just curious.
Interesting.
And, they will go just to see. And these are actually fairly nice places, fairly classy, and you have that anonymity there. So everybody who's there is there, so they're probably not going to tell anybody they saw you there. So there's some safety. And some people will go just to watch, or they go because they want to put on a show. And other people are saying, I've been married to this person for 15 years and kind of curious what else we can do.
Interesting.
But I think, again, as society becomes more, people have always had these thoughts. If we look at the ancient Greeks, people have had all kinds of interesting ideas. If you watch Spartacus, you get an idea of that. But I do think that the climate now is allowing people to sort of, once again, explore, where our country has been actually fairly sexually repressed, which I'm not going to blame on religion, but classic Catholicism is very monogamous, man and woman. So that has, I think, in some positive ways, even caused us to tone things down from what they may have been 1,000 years ago.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, Michael, your Dr. Michael McCain, you are a minister. You are from the religious area. Do you think that there is something that people are moving away from religiously in order to what do you think about this as a minister? How does this make you feel when you hear that people are wanting, they're curious, is this a bad thing from a religious perspective, or is it a good thing, or is it showing that we're not holding up our own in regards to slowing down the evolution of love, sex, and marriage in a traditional sense?
Yes, I believe everything has its pros and cons, and I definitely believe that people are moving further from a set or specific religion and starting to embrace being more spiritual rather than identifying with a specific religion or denomination, however you choose to frame words to that. But I do believe religion has deeply affected what people call sexuality, how they define themselves, how they feel liberated in their relationships and in their bedroom. Often in the religious community, you're told a lot of what you can't do, but you're not told how to live,
Interesting.
how to be a person, how to enjoy life. Everything is a don't do this, don't do that. If you touch this, taste this, do that, you're going to hell.
Wow.
Or you'll get hairy palms.
I know from my perspective, that's what I have been taught. Being raised in a Christian home and environment, that's just pretty much it is what it is. Do you think that it is a struggle? Do you ever have people coming to you because they're fighting this war, this war of religion and this war of curiosity, this war of wanting to do this but feeling like they have to do that? I know more and more these days people are saying that I'm like a woman living in a man's body, or a man living in a woman's body, or I have these type of fetishes and things that I just can't, they feel restricted because of religion. I want to get your take on that when we come back, and maybe even Dr. Becky, have you explore that from a clinical perspective with some of the things that you've dealt with. And of course, we wouldn't have a good conversation without the Miss Sexy Kitty Pride now. So we'll be right back with more of Talking Out Loud with A.L. Cooper.